welcome back to the Sarah Ann and Amy channel. I'm Sarah Ann and I'm an actress who plays young Kim Da-Eun in Cobra Kai.
And I'm Amy. I'm Sarah Ann's sister and the other half of the Sarah Ann and Amy channel, where we take you behind the scenes of different films and TV shows. And today we are continuing with our Cobra Kai series and specifically focusing on Cobra Kai season 6. And we are so excited to welcome our guests for today. We have Brandon Lee and Patrick Luwis.
Hey, what's up? Thanks
Oh,
for
God.
having us.
Yay. So
Yeah, thank
Brandon
you so much.
plays. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying thank you so much. It's good to be here. Here on the Sim.
Yes. So Brandon plays Kwon Jae-Sung in the show, and Patrick plays Axel Kovacevic. Did I say that right? Because I was
You
like,
did. I was waiting. I was like, is she gonna get it? You did. You nailed it. Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
amazing. We're both characters that we have grown to really love at the by the end of part two. So if you haven't watched it, please go ahead and watch it ASAP. But our first question to kick us off is, how did you both get your start in acting?
You want this one to start first, Brandon, or shall I?
You
Sorry,
got it,
who
man.
goes
I'll
first? You
take
go
it.
first.
I'll take
Ladies first. I'm just
it.
kidding.
Oh, we're already fighting. We're already
We're
fighting. I'm just
going. We're
snapping.
going. We're going there. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
man,
It's
I
just
got
because
my
you're
knee
so
in the cup.
beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
sorry.
Everybody
This is
was
you.
up.
This is you.
No, I'll go ahead now. Yeah, I started in college. It was kind of something that I came into late in life. It's never something I thought I would do in high school. Like I always thought it was pretty cool, but it wasn't something I had really had any like real intention of trying. And then I got into it in college, like sort of on a whim. I just took an acting class. It was like to fill a core curriculum for my fine arts, or I'm sorry, not my fine arts, my liberal arts degree. So I took an acting class and I was like, this is so fun. I don't know why I haven't been doing this my whole life, and ended up switching my major, and then moved out to LA after that to just give it a shot. And that's kind of how I like got out here. And it's been 6 years, which I think is the same time as Brandon actually, which is amazing. But that's like the short version of it. I could probably keep you here all day and just go through the the details, but that's like the main.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah, that's sick. I mean, for me too. I didn't know that you got into it at college too. That's so. I mean, literally the other night we both realized it's been exactly 6 years for like both of us since
yeah,
we've been in LA, which is crazy. That's crazy. I guess we've never really talked about how we started, so that's cool to hear that. I feel like it
I
was pretty
know.
similar for both of us.
Crazy we didn't cover that at some point in like
Yeah,
the three
right.
months that
Or
we
maybe,
spent together. We didn't
yeah.
talk about that once. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for me, I got into it in college. I mean, I grew up doing martial arts, and so I always like really wanted to pursue the movie industry because I like loved like action movies like Jackie Chan and like Power Rangers and that stuff like that, but I like never really saw the opportunity to do so. But then yeah, when I was in college, I went to a talent school just to try it out. At first I wanted to be a model. And then,
Okay.
oh my gosh, I know, right? Typical. But yeah, then they were like, you should try acting. And I fell in love with it and realized that I was studying acting harder than any class I was taking in school. So I did like a showcase out here in LA, where I found my rep, my current agent, Justine, signed me there. And about the same time that I got declined to the university that I was trying to transfer to, she signed me. So I was like, it felt like a sign from the universe that school is not for me, meant for me, and I should just go all in on this. So she was like, yeah, pilot season's around the corner. You want to move out here? And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. I don't want to regret it. So I did
Yeah.
it. And yeah, it took 6 years to book Cobra Kai, but now we're here.
That's it's so interesting that you say that you notice that you worked harder in acting than any other subject, because I had that exact same realization. I sort of had that like, did we have the same journey? I think we literally have the exact same
I think
college.
we're twins,
I
dude.
think we're twins, man. But truly, I had that same thought where it was like I had been trying other things, obviously, like I played some sports and other stuff, and I always cared about it, but it was never like I don't think I ever really was like full throttle with any of that stuff. And then I
Mhm.
got into acting, and I just felt like the work ethic that I had for that versus anything else was just like so like way more intense, and I just wanted to put way more time and energy into that. So I was like, yeah, I think that makes you recognize like, okay, this is something that's probably worth,
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah. For
So,
sure. I feel like we're both late bloomers, you know. We got into it like
yeah,
in college. Like Sarah, you're so lucky you found your passion so early, you know? Like you have so much time, which is awesome. Well,
yeah.
like
Can we hear
how
your
did you get
story,
into it?
Sarah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got into acting like when I was around 5. Um, so
Amazing.
basically, like I had this like little school play thing called Circus, and I was a clown. But anyways, I was like on stage, and I just realized that I really liked to act. So then I enrolled in like some acting classes, and then I took this acting summer camp over the course of a few summers. And agents would come like at the end of the summer, and like you'd perform a scene for them. And I got 2 agents. So like at the end of their 2 different
Oh,
summers. And they like send me roles and like emails and stuff. So I audition for them. And if I get it, I get it. I mean, yeah.
you got two agents for the one-stop shop. You got two instead of, that's amazing. Good for you.
When you were 5, that happened when you were 5?
So like 5 is like where I kind of got the inspiration, and then over the course of a
Oh,
few years. So like I got my
gotcha.
first agent, I think when I was like 7 or 8.
Mm.
Wow.
Right before the pandemic, and
Mhm.
then the pandemic hit, so then she wasn't able to go anywhere. Like,
Oh, the
but
pandemic. Oh
Yeah.
no.
what's
I
so
didn't think about
crazy when I mentioned this to other actors is that she is only grown up during the age of self-tapes. So yeah, it's crazy to think about.
Do you enjoy self-taping or would you prefer to be in the room?
I mean, on
I know you don't know like if you could have it like because you probably haven't had obviously like many experiences going in the room because you grew up in the age of self-tapes, but I'm curious if you would have a because I know they're slowly bringing that back. And I'm curious your take on that too, Brandon, but just like do you
Mhm.
enjoy going in the room if you could? Would you prefer that?
Honestly, I like self-tapes because like I can film them like multiple times. I mean, if like you go in the room, it's like only one shot, like or else, I
The
mean,
same way.
I
I
mess
feel the
up. Like,
exact same way. Me too.
Yeah. I feel like there's pros and cons to both. Like, you can really dial it in. You're more comfortable in your room when you do the self tapes. But I do definitely feel like there's nothing like that in-person connection. And also you have a better idea of what they want because a lot of times they can direct you that way, you know? I don't know. I don't know about if you guys feel like this, but for me, sometimes I'll send in self tapes and I'll be like, are they even watching these? Like, you know what I
Uh,
mean? Like, do they just like watch 2 seconds and then they just click next? Or like,
Oh
you know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah. I call it like sending it into the abyss. Like you just spend
Yeah.
all this time and energy trying to get something right, and then you send it, and you're like, yeah, I really hope somebody at least looked at like the first 10 seconds of this. And but um, but yeah, good. I think pros and cons to both too, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I've been in LA for 6 years, and I wish I realized I want to be an actor. Maybe it'll still come. It's funny, we've all been in LA for 6 years. It's wild.
That's amazing. Hey, there's still
Whoa,
time.
you too.
Yeah,
Whoa.
because I moved in, is that 6 years? I moved in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
six.
6 years.
Okay. I was like, I was doing the math in my head and I was like, that's 6 years, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so-
It's crazy.
that's awesome.
So I had another question, like, how similar are both of you to your actual characters in Cobra Kai?
I think Brandon is very similar to his character. He's
I
kind
would
of
say
sort of
I'm
off
exactly the
screen.
same.
No.
I could
I
see
feel
it.
like
Yeah.
I feel like we are kind of like the antithesis of our characters, truly. Have you and you hadn't played a bad guy before, right? You never played a bad guy?
I don't think so. And usually what I audition for is never that, like never
Yeah.
bad guys really. Because that's like they were actually the creators when I did the callback, they were a little bit worried if I could even go there. Like
Right.
they thought I was too nice at first. And so I was like, okay, I guess that's a compliment, but for this role I kind of can't be nice. So I was
Right.
like, okay, I'll try my best. Yeah, I think I don't know if you feel like this, if you guys feel like this too, but even if there's a character that's very maybe on paper or like at first glance looks really different from you, I feel like no matter what you have to relate to them, there has to be truth in it. Otherwise, you can't portray it truthfully, you know?
Right.
So as ridiculous as it does sound, I do feel like I resonate a lot with Kwon, in very weird ways. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys as well,
I,
or?
oh, totally, man. No, I think, yeah, of course, like you definitely have to, like, that's ultimately like the only thing you have to pull from is like your experiences. And if there's a part of you that like maybe you don't want to admit, but is similar to Quan, and you just kind of, maybe it's even like this little, very tiny part of you that you kind of have to like awaken that a little bit and like lean into it as much as possible just to, because yeah, ultimately like you only have yourself to draw from. At least that's how I feel about it. But no,
Mhm.
with Axel, I feel like the harder part for me, like the hardest part and the more difficult part to relate to was the intensity and like the side of the character that's like more hardened, I guess, and just sort of like, the big bad fighter felt like, oh God. Like I remember getting the audition and being like, there's no way, man, I'm not pulling this off. And then it's like I read that beach scene and there's like this awkward kind of like gawky and I was like, oh, there we go. Like that feels, there's me. I can I can do that. And hopefully the other stuff comes along with it, you know.
That was
So
such a
Um,
funny scene at the end when he just runs off, and I'm like, oh
yeah,
no.
I'm like, sorry, bye.
Axel.
Yeah.
Poor
Oh,
Axel.
God.
Dude, your character is low-key so funny. Like just him getting so pissed at Miguel for like,
Oh my
and he just
God.
doesn't know. Like I was dying every time. Like especially when you're just like,
Have you seen
just
the memes? The
seen
memes are
what?
crazy. There's so many like
Oh,
memes about that moment in particular. It's been cracking me up. Oh my
it's
God.
hilarious, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
can you do that face for us? I'm gonna see if
Oh my God. I
it's
honestly,
good.
it's so, let me try. I was like, you know what I would do? You know what I would do, which has always kind of made me laugh. Also, I really want to point out. So the scene, this was way quicker than it's like the scene where like we're really having a stare off for a while. That was a little bit easier to be serious in, but there's a really quick moment in I think episode 9 where Miguel and Sam are holding hands and it like cuts to me quickly and I'm having this like look over. I don't know if you remember this, Brandon. Like I was having such a hard time like keeping a straight face for that take. I was literally I don't know what it was, but every time he just threw me that look back, like, what are you looking at, dude? It broke me. But yeah, I guess I was sort of
Yes.
like a little like lip quiver or something that I don't know. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's so good.
it was
That
fun.
was so good. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah, of course. And what about you for your character? I know you had to put you had Kim Da-Eun to, pull from. Obviously, you have like the older version of the character and but how did you go about portraying that?
Um, like for the
how did you like how did you um portray
What
the
was your
character?
approach? Yeah, like
Yeah, how did
oh,
you
okay.
like
So honestly, like Kim Da-Eun in that scene, like young Kim Da-Eun is like really young and innocent, I guess. I
hmm,
mean, um, hmm, like trying to
very
think.
very different from her character,
Yeah, it's
like the
very
Later.
older
very
version of her character.
different
Yeah.
from her character like in the future, but I think it's like she becomes like meaner because of her grandfather and like she really just wants to like please him and make him proud in that
Right.
type of way. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you
Hmm.
did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
You were very convincing as a young, sweet version of her.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, in episode 2, when you're like getting hit, I was like,
Oh
no.
my God, I know. Oh.
Oh, it was so, yeah, you played it really well. It was so good.
Thank
well
you.
she enjoyed it in real life. You want to talk about
Yeah.
how you enjoyed that?
Yeah. I mean, I like I saw the stick and then I like felt it. I was like, I'm getting hit with that. Like,
Well, it was very rubbery. I'm sure also the like knife and stuff that you had was also rubbery too, right? Because they had like the I don't know what they called it, the like the stunt version of the prop, and then they had the
Yeah.
like camera version of the prop, and then
yeah.
they had like three different versions, I think,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
she
had to
definitely
like swap it out mid-take. Um, yeah, and I had to they were really, really safe about it, like they told me every time I grab it, I like triple check that it's like the rubber one and not the real one. So yeah.
Yeah. That would have been wild.
Yeah. And I was gonna say what I love about Cobra Kai is how you guys kind of touched on this, how it's no character I feel like is truly like evil or the antagonist. Like when you think about Cobra Kai as a whole, like it centers around the antagonist of the Karate Kid,
Mhm.
Johnny Lawrence. And so but then as the show goes on, he becomes our protagonist. And almost in season six, like Kwon is set up to be an antagonist at first in part one. And then in part two, it almost feels like Axel's kind of set up to be an antagonist. So I feel like there's not really even a quote unquote true antagonist. I mean, maybe like Silver and Kreese a bit, but
Yeah.
one's a bit gray and you kind of find yourself rooting for characters. I mean, especially after you see Axel's backstory, you're like, well, I'm rooting for him. And
Mhm.
I know Kwon has his own fan base and all that.
Oh
So
yeah.
I feel like Kwon doesn't
Hit the
have
Quan,
any good
man.
in him. I don't know if he has any good in him, to be honest. It's like, like with Axel, you can see, oh, he's got like, that's why he's like that. With Kwon, it's just like, dude, you're just
I
messed up, dude.
yeah.
Like,
I will say, like, I do feel like I got kind of lucky with my character's arc versus like, I feel like you and Reina just got like just kind of like pure evil. No, not that. But you know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
just
yeah.
was but they're so fun, like I feel like you kind of love the bad guys. Like I like Silver is I love Silver. He's
Oh
one of my
my
favorite
gosh, he's
characters.
the
And like
best.
he's just,
Yeah.
not much like redeemable about that character, but you still just like enjoy watching him, like him in the hot tub. It just cracks me up. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
my
listen,
gosh.
he's just enjoying his little bath. But it's cool how they're the flashbacks too, because we've gotten a chance to know Nick who plays young Silver and just kind of hearing like his
Hmm.
backstory of, fighting the war and stuff and how that has
Mhm.
affected him. And so even with those like big villains on the show, like they get their own moment to share their backstory too. So I know I feel like there's some good in Quan deep down. And there's so
There has to be, Brandon. Come on.
You think so? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for thinking that, guys, because I don't
I mean, we'll
know.
never know, obviously. It's gone now,
Well,
but
yeah, I wonder why, bro. I wonder why we
yeah,
can't find out.
dude, you did it to yourself, man.
There's this guy.
Just how about don't jump on a knife next time? You ever think of that? Like,
Yeah, have you
don't
ever think of
stop on a
that?
knife. Ah! No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
No.
Um,
Oh,
so I know like in the show, both of y'all have like different accents than like obviously what
yeah.
you have right now. So how did you like decide on the accent and how did you work on that?
Good question. Brandon, do you want to go first?
I'll take this one first since you keep I
I don't
keep
know.
putting
I
you
don't
in the
know. I
hot
didn't feel
seat.
like bad if I jumped in.
No, yeah, no, 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 I just feel bad because I've had more time to marinate on it and give you time to think about it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, for me, both my parents are from Korea, so I got to like kind of pull from that a little bit. I what is it? It was interesting because my parents both have been in the United States for about 30 years now. So their English is really good, but they still have like a really subtle accent. So I would just have them like read each line and I would kind of like notice the nuances of like, oh, they like what they struggle with, like they add extra syllables sometimes. They struggle with their F sounds because there's no F in Korean. It's like little things like that. But yeah, it was definitely tough because I always grew up like making fun of Korean accents here and there just because like I think they're hilarious. But then I knew with this character it couldn't be comedic. It had to sound natural, and I didn't want people to just like start laughing because the accent was so ridiculous. So I had to find like this weird middle ground where it was like it was obvious, but also it doesn't come off as comedic. So yeah, that was definitely a challenge. But yeah, what about you, Patrick? I feel like
Yeah.
it's crazy that you like yeah, I don't know, just like at least
Because
for
I
me,
mean,
like
had you
I'm
not you hadn't
Korean.
heard yeah, had you heard
Yeah.
my character's accent before? Because I guess I like hadn't really spoke around you guys
Yeah.
like a lot of people were kind of hearing it for the first time when they saw because like I think there were several times where like you had lines when but when I'm fighting like I'm pretty quiet. Like your character was more vocal, like I feel like you'd
Yeah.
always but I feel
I
like my
only saw you talk with that scene that we had in the
yeah, in
alleyway.
the
And it
alleyway
was
was
like
one of
one or two lines.
it was
Yeah.
super quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, it was like when they sent the audition, I think they left it open for sort of it was just like the breakdown. It said like an international character who's a fighter, and I think it was sort of like whatever accent you can bring to the table is kind of what it felt like. And it didn't seem like I was like, well, I can kind of do like I think I can do an Australian accent, maybe Brit, but I was like, that just doesn't seem very intimidating, or it just didn't feel like the right. It'd be hilarious if he was British, this character.
I would love to see that version too.
But I had done a Scandinavian accent before for a film, and I was thinking, I was like, oh, like Vikings, like Scan, like that could be kind of cool. And I was like, I've done that before. So when I taped it, I think I did what I thought was a Scandinavian accent, which I think ultimately was leaning more like Eastern European. And but we went through this whole thing, like up until filming, it was supposed to be like a Danish that like for what because they kind of left it open to me. And I had already filmed a couple scenes, but had not spoken yet on set. So I remember one day like being in my trailer and being like, this just doesn't like this is not the right accent. Like I think they have more of an Eastern European accent in mind in the first place, but they're just kind of trusting me. So I was like, I texted them and I sent them a voice memo of me reading my lines in like a Croatian accent. And they were like, boom, like that's way better. That's kind of more what we had in mind. Let's go with that. And because I hadn't filmed anything yet, so it was a bit of a journey, like finding that what it was going to be specifically, and like I have like my dad's side of the family has some Croatian background, so I was like, this would be cool to do, and I think it ended up really working for the character a lot. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. Yeah.
No, they both turn out great. So I loved getting and I'm glad Sarah kind of asked that question of like, how did you like figure out what it would sound like and how it'd be natural to your character and how much of a say you had in that when you were kind of deciding which accent. So love getting to hear the whole journey behind that. And not only are you doing acting and accents, but you're also doing a lot of fighting as well. So
Oh
the
boy,
stunts
yeah.
were amazing for this part. Like, I mean, just all of them. And we're just curious to hear a little bit about what the training process is like. I know, Brandon, we've talked with you about your background in martial arts and all of that. I'm not sure if Patrick, you had a background in it or what did that training process look like just on set and in between filming the different scenes? Like, what was that whole process like?
Yeah, I had no background in it at all. And it was like I remember Brandon that first day when we all went into the dojo. I mean, I had so much fun, but I remember being like, what have I gotten myself into? Like Brandon's like just warming up, doing like a 540, like kicking the top of the ceiling. And I'm
Casual
like,
warm up.
yeah, I know. And I was over here like learning how to throw a front kick for the first like a roundhouse for the first time or something. Um, but no, honestly, I think I got lucky. I talked to Brandon about this the other day, but I feel like I got lucky with my fighting style was much more like, oh, big, strong, punch, punch, So it felt more like I didn't have to do anything too crazy. There were a couple moments where I had to do like a tornado kick, I think that's the name of it, and some other stuff that I was like, okay, this is a little bit more challenging. And it was all challenging because there's lots of beats, but yeah, I just felt like God, the stunt Matt Mullins, my stunt double, and Ken Bearfield, Donnelly, all those guys were so good, like and so instrumental in making sure we were exactly where we needed to be. So honestly, thanks to them. Like I really, yeah, I think it's really mostly thanks to them. But
Dude, but you killed it, man. I get asked about it in interview after interview, and I keep like hyping you up because like for I don't like for me it was hard, and I'm a lifelong martial artist, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how you came into here, no background, and still like they gave that performance. I remember there was one time where like at the hotel we all stay at the same hotel obviously, and I remember like I was like training one day and I like to pride myself in that I'm gonna be in the gym when no one else is gonna be in the gym. Next
yeah.
thing I know, Patrick comes and walks in and he's
I was
like training his choreo.
like,
I was like, oh, okay. And then he starts
yeah,
training his choreography. And I remember you were like outside training your choreo. And I remember you came in and you were like asking me for tips on like how to do certain kicks. And I was
yeah,
like, dang, this dude's like really freaking dedicated, man. And
yeah.
it showed, bro. It really paid off. You killed it,
And
man.
that's when you said to me, "Stop bothering me. I'm working out right now."
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I was like, dude, leave me alone, bro.
Yeah,
You're
like,
gonna
dude,
kill
can
me
you
later,
mind?
anyways. Yeah.
No, Brandon was you were so nice, man. And honestly, all you guys were so helpful. But no, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, dude. You killed it. You killed it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Dude, you
You killed the Quan.
killed the call.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that was
All
so
those
fun.
TikToks of the
The-
Quan dance. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Hitting the Quan.
There's a
Oh my
moment,
God.
Brandon, like I think one of my favorite, there's so many cool sequences that you have, but there's one sequence in particular. It's like I think it's like two people that you kind of take out at once, but it's like right before you yell, Keen!
Oh
There's
yeah.
like two moves that you do where you just like casually like jump up and spin and just one time this guy and then like grab the guy, knee him, and do that like flutter kick. I don't know what it is, but I think that sequence of moves is so cool, man. I rewatched that so many times. I was like, this is
Oh
incredible.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dude, that was shout out to Don because that wasn't in any of the choreography.
That wasn't?
And then yeah, it wasn't because remember how like wasn't the brawl originally supposed to be like double the length? It was like supposed to be
Yeah.
even
It was crazy.
crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and I remember
was-
we were like so freaking short on time, and Don was just like he knew that we had to skip to that beat where you and I start fighting
Right.
like quick. So he
Right.
was like, "Okay, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna kick this guy, you're gonna kick this guy, kick this guy, then you're gonna kick Robbie." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." Like he came up with all that on the
That's
fly, and we
crazy.
just
I
did it.
had no
Yeah,
idea.
and we did it straight into our fight,
Right,
pretty
right.
much.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
like all in
that's
one shot. It
insane.
was crazy. Yeah, but it ended up being one of my favorite. But yeah, shout out Don. That was all Don's idea. I
Oh man,
remember.
what a crazy sequel. That whole the brawl was like the first time I watched that, I just had like chills the whole time. I was like,
Oh
this is
my
insane.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah,
It
that was
definitely
crazy.
deserves multiple rewatches because whenever you rewatch it and notice like a different fight in the back, it's like wow, every single like little fight, even besides the main one that's going on, whatever they're showing, there's like so much going on and so much choreography. So
Yeah.
I forget, was Don, he was the original Master Kim, right? In the season 5, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or
Wait,
if I
yeah.
remember correctly, before they casted C.S. Lee, it was Don.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Original grandfather.
My
And then he doubles Miyagi as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
Old
Miyagi.
Miyagi, or yeah, flashback Miyagi, he doubles him. Dude, he gets to play the best. What like
I
the
know.
top like but I mean if who else would do it, it's that's
Got to be
Sensei
done.
Don. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
My friend was randomly at a wedding with him in like Greece the other day or something. I got like a text
What?
like, I'm with your like coordinator. But I was like, what? This is so random, but I love it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
they're really the stars of this whole show though, because yeah, Sarah, you want to talk about your time working with Ken because
Oh,
he's
yes.
amazing.
So I actually got to work with Ken because I mean I had a little stunt kind of. I mean in my flashback, well, I did get to do a kick on my grandfather. Um so basically like Ken was so supportive and like he told me like how to do everything and he was just like reassuring me and stuff and he was honestly an awesome stunt coordinator.
He's he's such a nice guy. I'm curious. I know we're talking Cobra Kai, but Sarah, I'm curious because I know you've worked on some other stuff. Like, has there been a favorite project that of the stuff you've been on? Do you have a favorite, or do you not want to say? In case it's not Cobra Kai, I don't want to make it seem, like she's like, well,
There's only one right answer. I'm
there's
just
only one. Yeah,
kidding.
we'll get this wrong.
Like to be like really honest, like I love like all my projects and stuff, but I gotta say Cobra Kai is
Really?
pretty awesome. Like I love like being in Cobra Kai. It's
Oh,
yeah.
that's
What
great.
about it? What about it like makes you like it extra?
Honestly, like the whole entire cast and crew, everyone, and like how it's connected to like the original Karate Kid is awesome.
Mhm.
And just honestly, like everything about it, like and the costumes and stuff, and like those are amazing.
Absolutely. That's so cool.
And one of the things that Sarah's grown up doing is Taekwondo. Did you talk about that yet? I don't remember.
I
I
don't
don't think she
know.
did.
That's
So
right. That's
she does
right.
Taekwondo too, so it's cool, like, and I'm sure Brandon, you felt this, like being in a show that's centered around the thing that you've been practicing for so many years, and the fact that there's so much more like Korean representation too. I mean, Joe Saw started, and
Woo.
then after that, everyone's just started joining. So
Yeah.
it's a very
Yeah.
show now. I love all the videos Alicia was putting out about now it's a Korean takeover. And
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
that's
just
great.
the representation and the martial arts aspect is cool. For me, at least, viewing it from Sarah's perspective. And for me, like
Yeah.
on set, it was one of my favorite sets. I got to go and take her to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
nice people on that set, like across the board. Pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think we met a bad person on set, really. Just good people.
Just like literally cast and crew down, like every single person's just yeah, that energy is like unmatched. I remember people kept do you remember people kept telling us like especially the OGs, they're like this will never like you will
Yeah.
never find like this many actors that get along and nobody's a diva and everyone genuinely like likes each other. Like with that many people involved and everyone just getting along and just like being on the same page and having no ego, it's like the rarest thing ever, I feel
It's
like.
it's pretty lucky. It's very yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
there's always bound to be at least one person that makes things like like that. No, I was looking. I was trying to find a better. It's like
Yeah.
where are they?
Yeah.
There's got to be one. No, everyone was so kind, really, and
Mm.
just yeah, like you said, like even just the camaraderie and like spending time together when you're not on set. Like it's big
Hmm.
for people who are flying into work and we're staying in a hotel. So like to have the main cast be so welcoming to us, like even outside of when we're working was huge. Like that was so
Yeah.
important to me. And I feel like just
Yeah.
made our connection on screen even better.
For sure. I remember I actually asked like some of the main kids cast like, yo, why do you guys think that like it's so like why is everyone so cool, you know?
Yeah.
And they said that it's like it comes down to the OGs, Billy, Ralph, and Marty, and like all of them, because they set the tone of like, I mean, you remember Sarah, like when we were shooting episode 2 and 3, it was like 30 degrees out and just freezing. And Marty is out there like close to 80 years old, never in his trailer, never once complaining, and just being super professional. And like when you see like an OG like that who's earned like all of their stripes and they're just like there, never complaining, like and whereas the young guys, like we have to, live up to that, And like
Right.
Billy and Ralph, every day, they're in the background pretty much like being extras for like a lot of the fighting, but they still like every day just standing there. I'm like they for sure could have like stand-in doubles, but they would just like still come to
Absolutely.
set and watch everything. So like I feel like it comes down to the OGs.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
starts at the top for sure. And the show
Mm.
creators too. Like they set
Yeah.
that environment too. They're always there. They're always like,
Hmm.
they could definitely be like more hands off in some ways, but I think it's part of the reason the show is so successful is because they're always there. At least one of them like, helping out and overseeing everything. But yeah, absolutely, man. No, that's so true about Ralph and Billy. Like there were definitely moments I remember being like, yeah, they easily could just be in a trailer right now or not. But they're
Yeah.
like watching all the fights and like congratulating people afterwards and being like, great job, or it's really nice.
Hmm. They're such dads too. They would always have their cell phones out.
Like I know in like the funniest way, like kind
And
of
just
just
be
like
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
And
getting
then
all
just
the
like
behind the scenes footage for you
yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think just for themselves, but I'm like, dude, there's so many other cameras. Like, you guys, like, why are you guys out of all people? Like,
Right, right.
you know what I mean?
That is
So funny.
adorable. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was cool getting to see them like being on set and being a part of it. And Ralph was, so hands-on to direct the third episode. And
Hmm.
one of the memories that I had when we were there was John Hurwitz, one of the big three, just coming up and being like, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm like, wow, it's never happened where like a show creator has come up and like introduced themselves.
Yeah.
So it is a very, very special set that, yeah, we miss a lot. So, or I know, especially Sarah. I know I say we as if I'm in it, but but I want to transition to kind of talking about that scene. And by that scene, if you haven't watched part two, please go watch it now before we talk about it in great detail. But the the
Here
death
we
of
go.
the beloved Kwon. So just curious, because I thought it would be really interesting to have both of you on here since you're both part of that very pivotal scene. I mean, obviously, Brandon happened to you. So just want to start off with you and ask, did you kind of know how, the fate of your character when you were starting off playing him? Like, did you see the script when you started off? Was this kind of when you were auditioning, did you know about it? Or was this kind of surprise as you started filming and got closer to it?
Yeah, so around the time I met you guys on set when we were shooting episode 2 and 3 was the time that I found out. Like when I booked the role, the only scene, like the only scripts that I had and only information I had was all in episode 3. So I had no clue the arc of the character or anything. And I just remember Hayden, one of the creators, just kept pulling me aside like in between takes and telling me the arc. It's like you're gonna try to mess up Robbie and Tori's relationship. All this gonna happen, and then
Yeah.
he was telling me about the Iron Dragons, and then I found out like Silver's coming back, and I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Like this is gonna be sick. And then yeah, I remember he told me, um, what the inevitable, what ends up happening to Kwon. And I just remember Hayden like staring into my soul and being like, and nobody's ever died in the history of this show. And he was just like, I swear he was like messing with me, like trying to put the pressure on me. And I was just like, this is crazy. This is my first role, and I have to like, you know what I mean? This is wild. But no, by the time we got there, I felt like all of us had such good chemistry, and I had so much more confidence with the character because it was towards the end, so I felt like way more comfortable, and doing that with Patrick and I had spent like probably 3 months together by then, so like everything just felt really, really comfortable by that
Yeah.
time. But yeah, that's when I
Yeah.
found out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great scene, and that scream. I know my sister and I talked about it,
Oh
like
yeah.
when you get stabbed, it's like so chilling. So you did a wonderful job playing dead and all that too. So it was a great scene, and just yeah, really, really surprising for all of us watching. Like I know I was definitely very shocked.
Like my reaction, I was like, oh
Oh,
my.
you guys probably had no clue, right? Because you only
Yeah,
got the scripts
no,
for episode 2.
we only got the
Oh,
episode
wow.
2. Yeah, so we knew about the like frat fight and like that stuff, but not the
No
juicy
clue.
content.
Wow. That's
So it was
crazy.
a surprise, and we don't know how part 3 is ending, so we're excited about that. But for you, Patrick, when this whole thing is happening, what do you kind of think is going through Axel's head as this is happening? And I'm really curious if you think, I mean, I personally don't think it's his fault, but like if he
Yeah.
feels some sort of sense of responsibility for this happening and how it's going to affect him going into part 3.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I mean, obviously it's like it was I think just it's in first and foremost it's important to clarify that like I don't think there was like any intention obviously and like I think he'd be a very different character if I was trying to kill Kwan, like that'd be a very different story. And but I think it's just like ultimately he's kind of just defending himself in the situation, but it's like it's horrible, it's a shock, it's just like and I don't think he's obviously I don't care who you are, like what you've been through. If somebody's like dying in front of you, that's got to affect you in some way. So, and you can even like see it on my face, sort of at the end of the episode, where it's almost just like, what has just happened? We're all in shock. I guess, yeah. But I think from like a just when I read that script the first time, I was like, I know it sounds funny, Brandon, but like I'm sure you probably felt this way too, but not that it's a cool thing to be involved in like a character dying, but I was like, it is kind of cool that
Oh,
we're like
it's
the
so
first.
cool.
Yeah, it's like you're the first character to die in this like iconic show, and like I get to be involved in that in some way. And I don't know, I just think it's like it's kind of cool. It's like a pretty like epic scene to be like it's kind of like gonna go down in the books as like something you really remember about. So I was excited about it. I was a little worried about because you're such a loved character. Kwan's such a loved character. I was like, great, I'm gonna be the guy who's like involved in like killing this guy who is everyone loves. So I'm very, I was worried about that. And I do see the comments. Should have been you, Axel. I see him. All right.
Oh, what?
That one, I've been
No!
noticing that.
That's so messed up, dude.
Um,
I've seen those. What?
Brandon, I wanted to ask you this because I said this in another. Sorry to drop that, and then but no, I wanted to ask you this because I saw this or I said this in a different interview, and I want to make sure I'm getting it right. But I wanted to give you credit, and hopefully I'm giving credit where credit's due, and I didn't take this away from someone else. But was it your idea to do the leg sweep, or am I imagining that?
Um,
Why
I
do I
think
feel like
you,
I remember? I mean, I know they had it blocked out, but I felt like for some
yeah.
you were like you were I don't know. I feel like you added something in there in the last minute where you like, you know, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
remember
no,
that.
no. It was, I mean, I think it was collaborative from all of us, but when we were first like rehearsing and learning that scene, I remember Matt was showing your double Matt Mullins was showing us different versions of the ending. And I
Yeah.
just remember thinking that it was like too easy for him to go out. Like I remember there was
Right.
one version where you just like clothesline me and like he just runs into the punch. And I'm like, I don't think Kwon would just like run into that, you know? And
Right.
but then I think there was one version where Axel was gonna tornado kick or
Yeah.
something like that. And then my idea was just like, okay, what if I try to do the same kick mid-air, but
Yeah.
he just beats me to it and then I fall onto it. And
Yeah.
then I
Okay.
remember we like Matt was like, "Yeah, I love that. But let's show Don." And then we pitched it to Don, and Don was like, "Can you do that?" And I was like, "I think we just did it in front of him, right?"
But yeah, and the reason I bring it up because like I was just saying, I mean, I feel like we with us and the stunt guys who are
Uh-huh.
incredible and they have like, I was just saying like I feel like I remember really workshopping that because it's not an easy thing like timing wise to get down. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like not an easy. I feel like we did it pretty successfully, like quicker than we
Yeah.
thought. I remember being like, man, this is not going to be an easy thing to do at all.
Yeah. And what was also cool is I remember we were originally going to stack the hit, which like if people don't know what stacking the hit means, it's like where you don't actually hit someone. So you cheat it with the camera angle. So like if like for example, if anyone's watching video like here, if I'm like to punch myself, like you can see it, like but in reality, like there's this gap here. So we were gonna like stack the hit originally, but then we ended up like just making positive impact. But it helped so much. Like and then
Yeah.
also for that camera angle, like because they were shooting 50-50, we had to make the positive impact. And it ended up coming out great. But I remember
Right.
like I think you nicked me on the first. I think we only had like two takes or whatever, if I'm wrong. But like you nicked me on the first one and you were like, dude, and I was like, dude, that felt great. Let's do it again. And you were like,
Yeah.
okay. And like we just went with it again. Because it
Is
actually
this
when
guy
you
okay? Is something's
Punch me
wrong?
again.
no,
Yeah.
but it actually helped me fall better when
Yeah.
you like it's like you didn't kick like you had really good control. Like it was just
Yeah.
like a little boop, you know.
Yeah.
But it ended up it just like yeah, it was the spontaneity of that. It just ended up great. I don't know.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. No, that's what that's what I was trying to remember. I was trying not trying to take away credit from anybody else, but I just remember being like I felt like you were really instrumental in like helping us get to that place, which was cool. Um, but yeah,
Thanks,
man, what
man.
a crazy moment.
Yeah, I think it was just like super collaborative with everyone, and that's what I was like super grateful that the stunt team was so open-minded to all of our ideas.
Oh my
Like,
God, dude, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that was super sick.
Those guys, like, quick shout out to not to like I not to I know we're talking about that, but just really like a quick shout out to the stunt team because dude, that the amount of stuff that they had to like put together for that brawl, for those fights and the short amount of time that they had was mind blowing. I mean, like it was
Yeah,
hard enough to learn it, but like to have to like come up with all that choreo and then teach it to people and then also still
yeah,
remember, like, oh my God, it's insane the amount of work.
yeah. Do you remember they had that whiteboard? Sarah, did you ever
Yes.
go to the stunt dojo at all for rehearsals or
Um,
see what it looked like?
no, I've
Videos on social media.
yeah, there's
Oh.
yeah, but I've never been there.
Oh, gotcha. Well, like when you go in there, they have this huge whiteboard, right? And do you remember they had written every single beat of the brawl and it filled the whole whiteboard. Like I'm talking like whiteboard like the size of like elementary school teacher whiteboards. Like it was huge and it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
every single beat of like this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and it was just the brawl. It was insane.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was
I
Gosh.
love how like collaborative the whole process sounds, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
I think this character, because you understand the character so well, would do this, but not go out in this way. Like I think that's really just like a cool process to hear the behind the scenes of. So thank you for sharing about that. And to close our time off, just wanted to end on like a fun question here. So thinking about you as a person, not your character, if you could pick a dojo, which one would you be in? And I know I feel like the line it's just gotten really confusing now with how many dojos there
Yeah.
are, but whatever, however you interpret that question of which dojo, but yeah.
mm, probably the Irish team. They seem really fun. They just want to fight everybody all the time and I'd
That was a fun one.
go with Miyagi-Do, I think. I like their
Class.
value. I know that's like class. I know it's not maybe I'm not picking the most exciting thing, but I don't know. I like, I feel like I'm
Yeah, as much as Kwon would probably kill me to say this, but too bad he's in the afterlife. Haha. I would say Miyagi-Do as well. Me as Brandon, I really like the philosophies of Miyagi-Do and balance and everything. I love how many lessons there are within that style. So yeah.
Like the Gryffindor of Cobra Kai. If we're
Yeah.
comparing to Harry Potter. What about you,
Yeah.
Sarah?
I would, I mean, honestly, I would probably pick Miyagi-Do too. I mean,
Yeah,
traditional.
we
I
gotta pick the good guys.
Ooh.
We gotta-
If we're thinking about like, yeah, if we're how we're gonna, I would not want to be trained by the Cobra Kai methods. I
Yeah,
think I feel
yeah.
like I'm out of
Yeah.
it. I'd
Are
rather
you,
wax the car.
Yeah.
But I guess like Johnny's Cobra Kai in the earlier seasons, I think would be cool. Like, can I change my answer? Yeah, that'd be kind
what
of cool.
you remember when they put him on the cement truck? He
Oh,
put
Yeah,
him
man,
on the
Oh
cement truck.
that's what I'm
You want to
excited
do
about.
that?
Yeah,
Really?
that's what I mean. That's what, yeah.
You would want to do
Uh,
that kind of stuff?
Miyagi-Do wins.
What is that? So is that 4 for 4 for Miyagi-Do then?
Oh,
yeah, I think my vote for is for Miyagi-Do too.
Oh
For
wow.
myself. I mean, it would be cool to be trained by Sensei Kim, but you know,
Mhm.
Korea Cobra Kai, and they have the best bomber jackets and gis. But I don't know how
whoa,
much
the bomber
friendship
jacket,
comes
you're the
with
best
that.
geese, huh? All right. All right.
The best
Yeah,
key. The Iron Dragon keys are freaking
yeah.
sick
Those
too.
are really
Uh,
cool too.
no, I
I'm
love the
actually
bomber.
I'm surprised we haven't seen like some Iron Dragons like warm-up jacket drip. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Silver out of all people would like have something like
Yeah,
because he's all about money, you know. I feel like he would out of all people would have
it
like,
would have
you
some
know, put some
100%.
like diamonds or like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man.
I don't who know,
Absolutely.
maybe in part 3 we'll see them. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's
Might be.
Maybe.
true. We got to get some of the fans on making these Iron Dragons merch for us.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have some here. I
That'd
know
be
there's
sick.
some Korea Cobra Kai, but we need some Iron Dragon stuff as well.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, on that note, we just wanted to thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with us. It was so lovely getting to just hear all the behind the scenes like facts and getting to also know you as well. So thank you so much, Brandon and Patrick, for joining us today.
God, of course. Thank you guys so much. This was so nice. And you guys were great. These were great questions and really enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was so much fun. I love doing it was cool to hear Patrick's point of view of everything and your guys' point of view as well. So
Yeah, I
I
love
really I
the
want
group
yeah,
interview. It was great.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad you liked it. It was our first time trying this. So we will link down below both Brandon and Patrick's social media handles. You're both on Instagram. I know Brandon, you're on TikTok. Are you also on TikTok, Patrick?
My TikTok is private right now.
Oh,
I
okay.
deleted the app a while ago. I'm not really active on it. I may bring it back up, but yeah, but it's just Instagram for now.
Okay, Instagram, we'll link it down below. And then for our channel, make sure to follow us at Sarah Ann and Amy on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So we will see you for the next video, but thanks so much for watching today.
Woohoo! Bye.
Guys, thank you.